What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast. I am Rasean, your host, as well as your favorite internet neurotransformation coach. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about the law of attraction, what it is, how it works, and how to use it effectively. So in a nutshell, what is the law of attraction? Essentially, it states that you can attract anything you want if you believe in it deeply. I like to add on to it, on top of believing in it deeply, you take action towards getting it. Whatever you act on, you attract. That's how it works. So you can attract anything you want if you believe it, that you can get it, and then you act towards actually getting it. That's how it works. But in order for us to really explore how to use this ideally, we want to dive into how the brain works, specifically the mind, the conscious and subconscious mind. So the conscious mind, it's responsible for about 5% of our day-to-day thoughts, give or take. The subconscious mind is then, by law of mathematics, responsible for about 95% of our thoughts and also our actions. And it stores information as truths. The subconscious is incredibly powerful. How powerful, in fact? Okay, let me show you. If I say, don't think of a purple elephant, don't think of a purple elephant. Do not think of a purple elephant with white tusks, all the ripples, the gentle little pieces of hair. Not purple. It was just born purple. It wasn't painted purple, just born purple. Guarantee you, if I'm telling you don't think about it, you're probably going to be more inclined to think about it. If I say the sky is not green, let's assume that we do not know the sky is blue for this example. If we say the sky is not green, you are now going to be more inclined to know what it is and close the loop. That leans onto the Zeigarnik effect, which we talked about in episode 159. If you want to go in a little bit more of a deep dive, check out that episode after this one. But this is to show that the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. All the thoughts that we have, the actions that we take, are just the way that we live our life. A lot of that is controlled by the subconscious. And so that begs us to lean into the subconscious and really to focus on it, since that is what controls a vast majority of what it is that we do. Specifically, I want to focus on negative self-talk. Remember how we said before that the subconscious mind stores all information as truths? Well, the same thing happens with negative self-talk and everything else negative that we tell ourselves. These are going to form the paradigms that shape our life over time. So whatever we tell ourselves, whatever we are exposed to, the subconscious will store that, and it will then affect how we act, how we think, and what we do in the future. Hence, biases that we have and how we just process life in general. Don't believe me? I'm going to say two words, and I guarantee you there's going to be a strong divide amongst people. Donald Trump. Second I said that, I guarantee you, people who are listening, some people felt some way, some people felt a different way. I didn't say anything else other than two words, Donald Trump. We know typically what he stands for. Listen, we're not going to get political with this, okay? Please don't get political with this. This is just an example. Because we know who he is, depending on what information you have heard or not heard, or what people have told you, what you've read, what you've researched, you have a certain view of this person. Now, you tell a newborn baby Donald Trump, they have no idea. They have zero clue. Now I'm leaning in a little bit into biases and all kinds of things like that, and that words are just words and we give them power based on what we know. That's a whole nother thing. But this is just leaning into the whole concept that our subconscious is incredibly powerful. All the information that we have about Donald Trump, as an example, it's all in the subconscious. We consciously heard the name the first time, and then we did the research, came to a conclusion based on what we saw and our own morals, ethics, and beliefs, made a conclusion based on that, and now we hold that based on our own ethical, moral compass. Again, the two words have no power except the power that you give it. So the emotional trigger that you may have had was all because of your subconscious beliefs of those two words. That is how powerful the subconscious is. Now that you notice and you see, wow, that actually is kind of powerful, without even thinking about it, you just had that whole entire interaction and we just broke it down that quick. You'll notice Start taking that exact same ideology of how fast you respond to those things, take it now to everything. Look at literally every single thing that you just take for granted, you just believe, or you just know, or you just say, or you just live your life by. This is why I say question everything. Think about why it is you believe what you believe. What caused you to believe that belief? This is what I do in my coaching program. We go through those kind of things. We really get down to the nitty gritty of why is it that you believe what you believe? And if you want to change it, we go through the process of changing it. And so how in the world do we change it? Can it be changed? Well, short answer, yes. You can change your paradigm. Why? Neuroplasticity. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I didn't say it's going to be easy, but you can do it. So you can change reality by changing your subconscious beliefs. As an example, if you're someone who grew up in poverty and you do not change your paradigm of believing that you will always be poor, you will most likely be opposed to any sort of wealth building opportunity. You, for example, will think to yourself, you'll probably even have an inkling of, ooh, maybe I shouldn't go for that job that pays me $80K a year because that's a lot of money. And I don't know what to do with all that kind of money. And so the fear of success, of reaching that level that you've never reached before, that no one else in your family has before, that's new to you. And because of that, you haven't shifted the paradigm yet. That's going to start to play into what you do. That subconscious belief of, I came from poverty, I don't want too much money. You probably heard that money is bad, money is evil, money is greedy, all these kind of things. That's all creeping in now. And so now when you're being given the opportunity to make money, you might not be so inclined to want to do so. You'll be opposed to accepting that raise. You'll be opposed to starting that business. You won't want to do that. So seeing that, how do we put the law of attraction into practice? How do we take the understanding of, if we believe in something deeply, we can attract it? Let me explain how we're going to be able to do that. Thoughts attract similarities in reality. Again, law of attraction at the core. If you believe in it, you think about it a lot in the positive, visualize it, and take action towards it, the thoughts, the beliefs, the feelings over time will align themselves. This is not going to be an overnight fix. The conscious mind and you consciously understanding how the world works really doesn't kick in until about 7 years old. So it took 6 to 7 years for all these ethics, morals, and beliefs to be embedded in you. Naturally, it's not going to take 2 days for it to change. In fact, because that was when you were the most malleable and formable in terms of who you are as a person, you will always be battling with it. You're never going to fully get over it. I'm just going to break it to you nice and easy, or difficult, however you take it. You're not going to ever get over it. Now, you can get to the point where you notice it incredibly quickly and be able to correct yourself and change how you think, but there will never come a time when you will just go and say, oh, this is the way I think now. It'll happen so quick where you notice it and then instantly switch of like, oh, I can't. Okay, going back to the poverty mindset thing, you can get to a point where you can say, you know, you're making a bunch of money and you might want to buy something that's expensive. And you say, ooh, that's kind of expensive. Oh, wait, but I can afford it. I can afford it. I budgeted for it. I can afford it. That switch will happen very quickly. But the instant thought is going to be that, ooh, that's kind of expensive. Let's say you want to buy a $200 purse and you have $400 to be able to spend on whatever you want, luxury items. Even though it's $200 and you have $400, you will still have that inkling of, ooh, that's kind of expensive. Ooh, that's kind of pricey. Ooh, that's a lot of money. It's because it's in the subconscious. So you have to consciously and consistently check it. So how do we use the law of attraction? I've already essentially talked about the first point, and that is the awareness. You need to become aware of the current thoughts and beliefs that you have. You need to notice when those things creep up. How do we do this? You have to question everything. You need to ask yourself, why is it that I believe this belief? Why is it that when someone says these words, I have this reaction? Why is it that I interact with this certain thing a certain way? Why is it that I interact with this person a certain way? Why is it that when Rasean says Donald Trump, I feel a certain way? You first need to become aware of why it is that you do what you do and why you behave the way that you do. That's the first thing, because once you become aware, you'll be able to reverse engineer and find those negative patterns that keep coming up. Because of how the brain works, Neurons that fire together, wire together until it becomes second nature. So you need to become aware. And the brain doesn't make this very easy because the brain is a very efficient machine. So it's not going to be consciously letting you know, hey, you heard XYZ, time to do this. No, it's not going to happen like that. So you have to be consciously aware of every single decision that you're making. And it's going to take some time to get there. But that's how you do it. Become aware, number one. Number two is reprogram. If this thought, this belief, this system that you have, that you see just happening all the time, if it's not ideal, it's not what you want, you need to replace it with something that you do. This is also how you break bad habits. So you want to break a bad habit, I don't know, of smoking, let's say, for example. Every time you get the urge to smoke, you need to replace it with something positive. First is the awareness. What is a trigger that causes you to smoke? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it someone's presence? What is it that causes you to go and reach for that pack? Then once you realize that, the next thing you want to do is reprogram. Instead of going for that pack, what you want to then do is see what is a healthier alternative. Can I go for a run? Can I go exercise? Can I go play video games? What else can you do that is more beneficial that you can replace that activity with? Whatever goal you want, visualize it. What is the outcome that you want? Visualize it regularly. Dream board it, assuming you take action, otherwise throw the dream board away. Visualize that goal and the outcome. Whatever you want and whatever you desire, think about it regularly. Print it out, whatever you got to do. But you want to reprogram your brain so that way you can replace those thoughts with something positive, replace those actions with something that will benefit you. Then take the action. This is always the hardest part that trips people up. Take concrete steps towards the goal. IPIT, incremental positive impact tasks, small steps that are so small, failure is virtually impossible. Find your goal, your big overarching goal, separate it into tinier goals, then make those tiny goals into IPITs. So that way you can build the momentum to build those tiny goals. Then when you get those tiny goals, reach another tiny goal. And then eventually over time, you will reach your main overarching goal. But these activities need to be aligned with the outcomes that you want. If it's not, all this information that I'm telling you for these past however many minutes is going to go in one ear, out the other, and not affect you in the way that you want it to. But most importantly is consistency. You need to do this regularly, daily, hourly if you need to, depending on the severity of how badly you want to attract something. You need to be consistent with it day in, day out. Remember how I said with the subconscious mind, it took you almost 7 years to start thinking consciously? For you to get the baseline of your morals, ethics, beliefs, and the way you live your life, it took you 7 years. Who is to say that it's going to take you 7 days to go ahead and do this? 21 days habit, nonsense. Do it for a year, please. Okay? 6 to 7 years it took you to build it up. It's not going to take you a month to tear it back down. You need to be consistent day in, day out, and days when you don't feel like it are the days when your brain is putting up that barrier to say, no, we're leaving the comfort zone. I don't want to leave the comfort zone. And those are the days you got to push through the most. And it's tough. It's hard. The days you say, I'm going to be an early riser. And when you get to day number 4 of your 30-day challenge of waking up early and you don't feel like doing it, that's your brain saying, I don't want to leave the comfort zone. I want to stay. I want to go. I want to go. And you're telling the brain, no, we're doing this now. Now it's you against you. You said you were going to do it. How badly do you want it? That's what I'm going to leave you with for this one, how the law of attraction really works and how to actually make it work in your favor. Hopefully you learn something. Prayerfully you implement something. And I will see you all in the next episode. And guys, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast. Guys, again, if you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to the show for weekly uploads. If you love what you heard, be sure to sign up for that email list. And if you hated what you heard, be sure to share it with somebody who will appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to get access to the show notes or any kind of resource or link or to anything that was referenced in this episode, be sure to check out that episode's description below. You'll also find the contact information, any freebies, or any sort of thing from our little corner of the internet. Check out the episode's description. It's going to be an absolute gold mine for you guys. Until next time, take care and I will see you in the next episode.